Hi you guys, welcome back. So I'm going to do a quick update for you guys today. So the latest news with Tiffany Henyard is that she has appointed a new police chief. Yes. For all of you who don't know, the old police chief Lewis Lacey was fired by the trustees due to several controversies. Now, some would argue that he should have never been in that position to begin with, considering past accusations of him being intimidating towards citizens, lack of being able to effectively problem solve, and lack of empathy when dealing with the community. But what really topped the cake this time was his recent indictment for bankruptcy fraud. And so I think that's what really fueled the fire behind the trustees really going after him and getting him out of there. That, and coupled with the fact that the majority of the Dalton police officers wrote a letter for a vote of no confidence in Lewis Lacey.
I want you to know what how the police department felt.
We, the members of the Dalton Police Department, are generating a correspondence to our union as a formal declaration expressing our displeasure with the leadership of the former Deputy Chief of Police, Lewis Lacey. This letter serves as official notice of intent to present a unified vote of no confidence in the former Deputy Chief Lacey for past, present, and any future leadership for Lewis Lacey. The village and the residents do not deserve the example of unprofessionalism in the service of our community, and the members of the department apologize for the impact stemming from the fractures in the department leadership. And we humbly ask for your support and grace as we make active attempts to implement much needed internal changes. A vote was conducted in early August, and an overwhelming majority of 95%
Voted that they had no confidence in Deputy Chief Lewis Lacey.
All right, you guys, let's move on because we've beat that horse to death. We already know what's going on with former police chief Lewis Lacey. Who we're talking about today is Tiffany Henyard's latest appointment, and that is Ron Burge. Okay, so he actually ran against Tiffany in the prior mayoral election. I think that's how you say it. But yeah, he was one of the running mates in that election against Tiffany in 2021. Obviously, he didn't win, okay? But I know you're probably thinking to yourself, oh, Tiffany appointed a new police chief. He must be great. He must have, wonderful values. He's gonna definitely be good for the community, right? I know that's what you're thinking if you know Tiffany by now. No. Now, Ronnie Burge has some political ties in Dalton, as he did run against Tiffany for the mayor's position in 2021. He was obviously defeated, okay? But this information just kind of gives us an idea of where he stands politically, meaning he probably likes to play politics, okay? So this may be a reason why she chose him to be her right-hand man. They like to play the same game. So it's a one-person game, and while they're playing it, they try to give the appearance that they're there to serve the community and the residents. Now let's talk about why Ronnie is a controversial hire. He has been the subject of several lawsuits that involve political or employment retaliation.
A surprise new boss at the Dalton Police Department. WGN News has learned Ronald Burge Sr. started work Friday, appointed by Mayor Tiffany Henyard. A search of a federal court database shows Burge has been named as a defendant in at least 4 lawsuits in recent years. The majority involve allegations of political or employment retaliation.
Although there have been no real outcomes to those cases yet, the fact that he's being charged for retaliation in relation to politics is very telling. I would say one of the biggest red flags that pops up when researching Ronnie Burge is the controversy surrounding him and his son. Ronnie Jr. was accused of battery on a 66-year-old woman.
Ronald Burge Jr., the South Suburban Dixmoor police commander, already facing criminal charges for allegedly chasing down 66-year-old Carla Bourgeois. The recent incident captured on police department surveillance cameras. Cook County prosecutors accusing the 6'3", 230-pound Burge of slamming Bourgeois' head into a wall.
Now, not only did Ronnie's son work as a commander at the same police department as Ronnie, but he worked directly under his father, which is another huge red flag because this shows that he has no issues with nepotism. And one of the really bad things about nepotism is that it can open the door to favoritism and not holding individuals accountable for their actions just because they're family members, okay? And we know this happens a lot in a lot of businesses. There is nepotism, there's favoritism, but I think it takes it to a whole nother level, and it should not be tolerated within police departments and in areas where the public depend on these people to protect them. Because let's face it, at the end of the day, if these people have to choose between their family member or a stranger when an incident goes sideways, who do you think they're going to pick? Okay? Let's just be real. I don't think that should have been allowed to happen in the first place. Him being a commander underneath his father, it just seems crazy to me. But once again, these are the type of people that Tiffany wants on her side. People who don't care about crossing those boundaries and having cronies and family members inside their little circle to continue what they need to do, okay? To continue their agenda, so to say. So on top of this incident with the older lady, Ronnie Jr. was also charged in a separate incident that occurred in 2019 where he was accused of misconduct by a citizen.
There are new allegations of misconduct against the South Suburban Dixmoor police commander, who's already facing aggravated battery charges.
WGN's Julian Cruz is at the criminal courts building with news of another potential victim. Julian.
Micah, the police commander in question, already accused of dragging a 66-year-old grandmother through a police station parking lot earlier this month. Now the same Dixmoor police commander is facing new accusations, this time by another South Suburban citizen, accusations of misconduct.
I don't understand why they don't see this. It's an issue with this guy.
Rumon Terry describing his 2019 encounter with Ronald Burge Jr., the South Suburban Dixmoor police commander, already facing criminal charges for allegedly chasing down 66-year-old Carla Bourgeois, the recent incident captured on police department surveillance cameras.
Got to go to court Friday dealing with this guy.
Now it's Rumon Terry raising questions about what he says was an excessive use of force back in 2019 outside a Dixmoor cell phone store.
I'm still on the phone. He swings and hits me with the hand because he had the handcuffs in his hand. He swings and hits me and knocked the phone out my hand.
Terry describing his harrowing encounter with Commander Burge, a situation that escalated from words in a Dixmoor parking lot to an arrest for allegedly blocking a loading zone and being a public nuisance.
The public nuisance ticket, I don't even understand what that was. I never was disrespectful to the officer, but I did have words back and forth with him, asking him, why is he trying to tow my car?
Both Terry and his nephew were arrested for no valid reason, they say.
I ended up having to pay like $800 and some odd to get my car back.
And Terry faced with fines and lost time from work going to court to fight the charges. Burge's lawyer, Robert Willis, at the Layton Criminal Courts building today, taking few questions from reporters. The Dixmoor officer going before a Cook County judge today for the case involving the 66-year-old woman.
So, in case we need to be reminded how bad nepotism is, let's go ahead and see what Ronnie Burge Sr., his father has to say about his son's accusations and his actions. Let's watch.
I am very proud of my son.
At that point, video shows her running from the station and giving chase is Commander Ronald Burgess Jr. He's the police chief's son.
The state's attorney's office was not truthful in what happened. While he was trying to take her into custody, she's shorter than he is. She grabbed him in his private parts and refused to let go.
Dixmoor Police Chief Ronald Burge Sr. releasing this video showing 66-year-old Carla Bourgeois entering a secured area of the Dixmoor police station with her cell phone out. You can hear police tell her that she's under arrest. Her grandson was in custody and she was there to see him.
At that point, he picked her up.
Hit my head against the brick outside the village. He then took me inside the village hall and he bumped my head several times.
The chief didn't release the rest of the video, but prosecutors say Burge Jr. grabbed the 66-year-old and dragged her by the neck and chest back into the station, slamming her head against a wall at least 3 times. She took these photos of herself from the October incident.
Okay, so let's go over a little bit of what was just said. So, according to the victim's accusations, he grabbed her by the head and the chest and dragged her into the police station and bumped her head several times against the wall. Now, what I found really telling about this story is that Burge Sr., Dear Old Daddy, didn't release the rest of the video. Okay, so why would someone do that, you ask? I don't know. Why would they only release part of a video that could be used as evidence against them? Maybe because they have something to hide, right? Any logical person would think that.
Burge's father, Dixmoor's police chief, Ronald Burge Sr., earlier this month defending his son, telling reporters that there's more to the story. But Police Chief Burge not answering our questions today.
So you guys, another thing I found particularly interesting as I was researching a little bit about Dixmoor is that the mayor over there has also had problems with the trustees, okay? And of course, Police Chief Ronnie Burge is there supporting the mayor, and it's just like a big old political hot messness type of situation that seems to be going on in Dalton. Let's go ahead and take a look.
Boys in suburban Dixmoor stunned to learn that they may not get their paychecks despite working all of their shifts.
This news came in a letter from the mayor blaming a disagreement with village trustees for holding up that payroll.
Yeah, Ray and Micah, the allegations are flying back and forth, and Dixmoor employees are caught in the middle.
People are going through COVID. They have all other kind of issues. No employee should be working and not able to receive a paycheck.
It's supposed to be payday, but for Dixmoor employees, Friday could come with no pay.
This is, to me, nothing but political.
Mayor Yvonne Davis sent a letter with the news yesterday. She blames village trustees who refused to confirm her appointment for the new treasurer.
As far as I'm concerned, their goal is to see me fall. Thinking they're embarrassing me, but they're really an embarrassment to themselves.
We demand, as trustees, that our employees get paid.
Trustee Fitzgerald Roberts, who's running for mayor, says the board has not received enough information about how much the mayor's pick will be paid. He says Davis should resign. Earlier this year, it was revealed the mayor was overpaid more than $60,000 over 2 years. She says it was a payroll glitch, and she's paying the money back.
There's something with the finances going on here in the village of Dixmoor.
So they seem to be playing tit for tat, right? And the working residents appear to be paying the price. Because if we paid attention to the letter the mayor sent out, it basically states that since the Board of Trustees refused to approve her new treasurer, then effectively the employees are not going to get paid. Let me know if I'm reading into that wrong, you guys. But it seems that the mayor was holding the paychecks hostage until she got what she wanted. Also, there's the whole thing about the mayor of Dixmoor getting paid more than she was supposed to. Okay, like how do you not... I'm sorry. I just couldn't even, like, how do you not notice you're getting paid more? Like, come on. Who are you fooling? But then she just blows it off as a clerical error, like, oh, whatever, I'll pay that back over time whenever I get around to it. Like, what the heck? That sounds like something Tiffany Henyard would do, and she probably already did do. That's my opinion, okay? Allegedly. But yeah, there are definitely similarities between the mayor and the situation in Dixmoor to Dalton. Another thing, they also have the same water issues over there in Dixmoor. Let's go ahead and take a look.
Water main break flooded several local streets this afternoon in south suburban Dixmoor. You can see cars driving through the waterlogged streets from Skycam 9. The break happened near the village's water tower, and a village trustee tells us it's leading to low water pressure on the north side of Dixmoor.
Some residents there say the water pressure is so bad, they're sometimes unable to do laundry or even wash the soap out of their hair in the shower.
Residents say Dixmoor officials have told them an underground water leak is to blame. They haven't been able to find the source. Meanwhile, the village is getting financially soaked. That's because Dixmoor buys its water from neighboring Harvey. In the past year, Dixmoor hired private contractors for thousands of dollars to find the leak. One day last week, water stopped flowing to all parts of the village. The public works director said contractors refused to come out because they hadn't been paid. Trustee Cynthia Masudo questioned the qualifications of some of the contractors, including one who is a relative of a village official. We should not talk about who is related to who. We have a lot of relatives out here working, another trustee responded. Dysfunction, disputes, and delays are nothing new in this impoverished south suburb.
So you would have thought they were talking about Dalton with those last few sentences, but no, they're talking about Dixmoor and the mayor over there and the trustees and their water issues. Sounds a lot like Dalton. I did Google map them, and I think they're only like 10-15 minutes apart from each other anyway, so it's not really a surprise that they experience some of the same social and economic issues. And it's no surprise that Tiffany Henyard has chosen Ronnie Burge as her new appointment for police chief because he is no stranger to controversy and he is definitely educated. Let me get this right. He is definitely educated in politics. Okay. We got to make sure we got that right. Tiffany Henyard School of Education. I got my degree in politics and journalism's. I can't even. You guys, go ahead and make a list below of all the degrees that would exist if there was a Tiffany Henyard University. Okay. I know it's scary to think about, but go ahead and drop those down for me in the comments. Let's not get too out of hand, you guys. You know how YouTube is. And let's keep the curriculum strictly Tiffany Henyard approved. All right. But before we head out on this video, let's see what the trustees have to say about this appointment of Tiffany Henyard's.
Several officers have called stating that he has taken a car away from one of the commanders. He went to go try to purchase a uniform already. It's an illegal appointment. This is just about how can I get them back. It's about retaliation. This person has the same level of unprofessionalism as Louis Lacey. And we've experienced the Ronnie Burge episode before, as the chief had several lawsuits and unethical behavior, and that's not the direction that we want Dalton Police Department to go in.
So yes, that's one of the Dalton trustees, Trustee Kiana Belcher, and she's absolutely right. This is not the direction they want to go in. This is the direction Tiffany wants to go in because it's one that she feels comfortable with. She wants someone who is not afraid to get their hands dirty because, as we've seen numerous times in the past, she tends to hire people with very questionable backgrounds. And I honestly think this is her attempt to surround herself with people who have either gotten or are not afraid to get their hands dirty and have controversies themselves, so the attention won't be on her so much, which is a very backwards attempt because, like they say, birds of a feather flock together. You guys, let me know what you think about Tiffany's new appointment and how it's going to go for the village. And do you feel like she's just trying to surround herself with people who have their hands a little bit more dirty than she does? That's going to be it for today, you guys. Once again, if you enjoyed the video, please remember to leave it a like. And if you're new here, subscribe.
Just out of his first federal court appearance, the physically towering Dalton and Thornton Township manager Keith Freeman stood beside his defense attorney silent and defiant. A federal indictment filed last week accuses the South Suburban administrator of lying about his employment and income when filing for personal bankruptcy earlier this year.
Andrew Holmes is a Dalton Village trustee and ally of embattled Mayor Tiffany Henyard.
The mayor, her security detail, and several of her allies went to Las Vegas last May to attend a conference to lure retail business to town. Now we've obtained a complaint filed with the Illinois Department of Human Rights in which one of Henyard's aides on that trip accuses a trustee of a counter after she blacked out and had been unable to provide consent. The acting police chief of Dalton now facing federal charges. The grand jury indicted him on bankruptcy fraud charges today.
He's a close ally of Dalton's embattled Mayor Tiffany Henyard and the second of her top aides to face a federal indictment.
He's also charged with making false statements and perjury. Lacey is a close ally of Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard.
Not only did Mayor Tiffany Henyard make the hire without consent from the board, we're learning tonight the newest employee has a storied past.
Allegations were surfacing about his background, including some startling allegations of inappropriate behavior.
My next appointment will be for village administrator.
Public reporting shows Smith has been charged at least 8 times with crimes ranging from domestic battery to official misconduct. In 2012, Smith, then a young trustee in Dixmoor, resigned after pleading guilty to theft when he allegedly stole gasoline by posing as a police officer. Then in 2018, Smith was working as an assistant dean at Thornton Fractional High School when he was fired for harassment of a female student, grooming a student with lascivious intent, and inappropriate aggressive behavior towards a male student. According to his termination letter, Smith was accused of contacting a 15-year-old female student on Snapchat with inappropriate comments and making her his girlfriend.
Residents of South Suburban Dalton reacting to a Fox 32 investigation that found a new village employee with a dangerous criminal past.
Redmond is close to new Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard and worked on her campaign. Redmond was hired as a code enforcement officer for the village of Dalton, a job that gives him access inside homes and businesses. Redmond is listed as a child sex offender on the Illinois State Police Registry. He served 24 years of a 50-year sentence for taking part in the brutal gang and beating of 2 young girls in the Roseland neighborhood in 1991. News reports at the time say Redmond was one of 4 young men who kidnapped the girls and took them to an abandoned garage where they were sexually assaulted and beaten with boards and guns.
A surprise new boss at the Dalton Police Department. WGN News has learned Ronald Burge Sr. started work Friday, appointed by Mayor Tiffany Henyard. A search of a federal court database shows Burge has been named as a defendant in at least 4 lawsuits in recent years. The majority involve allegations of political or employment retaliation. Burge is known in the south suburbs. He ran against Henyard in the 2021 mayor's race. His son, a commander with the same name, served under him there. He was charged in 2019 of aggravated battery and official misconduct in an encounter caught on camera at the police station.
I am proud of my son. Make no doubt about it. And if I thought that my son did anything wrong or out of order, believe me, as a father, as the chief of police, I would not hesitate to do what I have to do.
We have a constant pattern of her hiring people without doing a proper background check and presenting it to the board. And that's our issue. That could pose a great danger to our community.